Welcome to my dad's podcast. It is called Up and Adam. Oh, and my mom's on it too.
All right, so we're back, and we don't know what we're going to talk about. Stephanie says, quote, my stories in my annoyance. So that's what you can expect on today's episode, number 12.
Yes.
Of the Up and Adam podcast with Stephanie. Hello, Stephanie.
Hello.
Anything else you want to say?
I was just talking when you said, what are we going to talk about? That's what my homework is every week.
Stephanie has homework assignment every week. She takes her homework loosely. Seriously?
It's done 5 minutes before it's due.
5 minutes before it's due, which is typical preparation for Stephanie. But hey, welcome back in. People listen, we talk, and that's what happens around here. And interesting stuff to talk about today. A few interesting stories. This is really just a window into our lives. I know that's kind of what people listen to, I think. I'm not really sure why people listen, but I guess some people feel like it's just hanging out with us, right?
Yeah, maybe we're cool to hang out with.
Maybe it would be helpful if you talk more. So what we're going to do today is that Stephanie usually just reads her phone to me and like randomly talks about stories. So there's a lot of that that's going to happen today. But a couple of updates from last show. So Stephanie, you asked me to go a week with this Fitbit thing.
Yes. Do you like it?
I've done the week. I'm not a fan.
So am I getting your Fitbit?
You might be. I'm not a fan. It's just kind of in the way. I did get made fun of a little bit at work.
Who made fun of you?
I'm not going to name names. That's not what this is about. But I got a couple of looks like, oh, did you get that's a Fitbit.
Oh, because you wanted an Apple Watch.
I didn't want anything. I didn't ask for this. So this was a gift that was bequeathed upon me. I didn't ask for. So yeah, I mean, it's the text messaging thing is interesting. You can see your texts on here, but the step thing is kind of annoying.
And when you were talking last night in bed and it kept lighting up. It
did keep lighting up as I was moving my hand last night trying to sleep.
You talk with your hands a lot, I guess.
I do talk with my hands a lot, I suppose. I also just don't trust the science. Like I feel like I'm just getting steps and I'm not even moving. I'm moving, I'm not getting steps counted. I don't know what the steps mean. The heart rate thing is weird. I don't know how to feel about that. Yeah, I'm not sure I'm a fan.
Well, I appreciate you at least trying it for a week.
Yeah, what do we do next though?
I don't know. Can you uninstall it on your phone and reinstall it on mine?
I believe all of that is possible, yeah. I believe all that's possible.
I haven't paid for like the protection plan on that thing.
You fall for that all the time. You always get that damn protection plan. Everyone tries to get you on, hey, do you want if it ever crashes, falls, something happens to it, we'll replace it for free. And you're like, sure. It's only $39.99 a year.
It was
and you're
like
just
$7.
It was expensive. I don't know how
the
much
protection
this was.
plan.
You always fall for the protection plan, though.
I do, because I feel like my father always taught me that you need to have like insurance on everything. So we have renter's insurance, car insurance. I have insurance for working out. Like,
wait, you have insurance for working out?
Well, to cover my own Tushy for training people.
And so if you had episode 12 for the first time the word Tushy was said, congratulations. You are the big winner. Find us on Instagram or
I was
Facebook.
a kindergarten teacher, just so we're clear.
Find us on Instagram or Facebook to claim your prize for the first dropping of the word Tushy. That was today. We also did something pretty interesting this morning, Steph. Largely we set this up for the children, for our younger, our little guy. Big fan of cars. Loves cars. Can name every kind of car in the world. Sees cars. Wants to talk about cars. Wants to buy like Matchbox, Hot Wheels cars. So we did something interesting this morning, Steph. That was really more for him. Do you want to share what we did this morning?
Sure. We went on a Tesla test drive, and it was interesting. And I'm glad you were the driver and not me, as the lady had you put it on autopilot.
Yeah, that's true.
But I had never heard Aiden so quiet in a car in my life.
He was mesmerized by the Tesla ride. It was an interesting endeavor. So I feel like everyone probably knows what a Tesla is. But for those who might not, I'll give you the quick 15-second bio. It's an electric car, no gas, obviously. Plugs in, battery powered, all that good jazz. But it's got all these interesting little technological gadgetries inside of it. It's got this giant like iPad-looking screen. It's got all these buttons you got to hit. And it does apparently drive by itself.
And you use a key card to open it.
Actually, use an app on your phone.
Well,
that's what
or
they
an app
prefer
on
you to
the
do.
phone,
Yeah. But it's interesting. Yeah, it was an interesting little ride. I know a few people out there probably have the Tesla. Many people have probably thought about the Tesla, so it was an interesting little endeavor. I walked away kind of impressed. I would potentially see myself driving one of those. I don't know. It was interesting. I'm not in love with it per se, but I'm not also in hate with it.
Why don't you talk about the brakes
It has brakes.
that you had to get used to?
So that's the thing. I did not have to get used to the brakes. I actually didn't have to use the brake.
Oh, okay.
Since it's battery powered, when you're using the accelerator, they don't call it the gas because there's no gas. They call it the accelerator. When using the accelerator, you're moving forward, and when you take your foot off the accelerator, guess what? You stop moving. But you don't really have to hit the brake to stop. Now, you'll come to a complete stop by hitting the brake, but you don't need to use the brake. You'll let off the accelerator, and the car automatically decelerates, and you begin to slow down at that moment.
You're like downshifting.
I don't know if I call it downshifting per se. You're not stepping on the accelerator. I'm not sure if I can say that in any better way. We also have a problem with this chair that I'm sitting in, Steph, by the way. This chair, it's old, and so it keeps like dropping down on me. And so like I'm sinking as the show is going on. So I start off at a pretty good height, and then I slowly. Can we get a new chair by any chance? Is that in the budget?
As soon as somebody agrees to, what is that called? Put their commercial on here.
Put their commercial on here. All right. So maybe
advertise.
Is it advertise or is it advertisement or advertisement? By the way,
advertisement.
I prefer advertisement. I think it's the British way. Hello.
Don't start.
Don't start what?
That British accent of yours.
What do you mean? That's one of my most memorable achievements. I don't know if we told this story on the air, but Addison had a friend come hang out with us one afternoon. I think we went bowling, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a friend that Addison kind of hung out with you at the exercising class. And I'm typically not around because of that pesky job thing. And so I'm not around a bunch. And so this is the first time I've really spent any significant time around this young lady. And for whatever reason, Aiden and I have this thing where we often, he kind of starts it, but I sort of, I guess I'm the leader of it. We speak in a British accent. And so I spent the entirety of that bowling endeavor speaking in a British accent. Oh, very good. That's a middle strike. Hello, Dad. Like I did the entire thing for the entire, I don't even know how long we were there, like 2.5 hours. And at one point, Addison's friend leans over to her and goes, I didn't know your dad was British. And that's like my crowning achievement of life.
He was so happy. And Addison was so embarrassed.
But she still thinks you're more embarrassing than I am.
Oh.
Which is true by 1,000-fold.
If you look at who her mother is versus some other people's mothers, she should be very happy.
Well, hold on. Let's get into that. What are you trying to say?
I don't think I'm that terrible.
You're also calling out everybody else's mom. What does that mean?
I said some other mothers.
Some other mothers. Okay. Well, what do other mothers? What do you think you do that makes you less embarrassing than, I guess, the traditional mom?
I just think that I'm more active than some moms my age, and I also don't wear like mom jeans, and I don't know. I feel like
Now, do you just think you don't wear mom jeans because they're your jeans, or do you think society at large would say that you don't wear mom jeans? I don't know. I'm not sure. I'm not up to date on the jeans. Are the high-waisted jeans back in, by the way?
They are back in.
God, I hate those.
Yeah.
Those are I don't understand what we're doing with those high-waisted jeans. Ladies, like, take your fashion advice from me. Let's not do the high-waisted stuff. I'm sure maybe it's coming back. Sounds like it's coming back, but it just needs to go away.
Yes, and according to our daughter, scrunchies are also coming back.
That's the hair thing?
Yeah.
I don't really care about that.
But it's crazy how things come back around.
It is great, but the high-waisted jeans can go away. That's just not a thing. We don't need to have that in our life. I don't know where we were, how we got here. So test drive Tesla. Mm-hmm. I'm in. You're not.
No,
we'll see.
I will never drive that Tesla.
We've got a ways away before we think about a vehicle switch, and so we'll see if that becomes something that we want to explore at that point. A lot of responsibilities with the Tesla. You got to plug the thing in. You got to take care of the thing. If there's like a scratch on it, like I would freak out. And just so everyone thinks before people think that we're like, making mad amounts of money on this podcast, there is a very cheaper, by cheaper is relative, version of the Tesla, the Model 3, which is about 40-ish base. So this is not the Model X or the Model S that'll run you 85 to 100. So lest you think that we are rolling in the podcast dough over here.
Yeah, but we found out California gives good incentives.
A lot of incentives. Do you have to live in California to get those incentives?
I think so.
Huh.
It has to do with when
Like
you
if
do your taxes at the end of the year.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
You get to take the money.
So I have to file in Cal. Okay, so I can't just drive into California from Nevada, buy the car, reap the rewards, and then drive back to Nevada.
Correct.
Okay, we don't live in Nevada anyway, so that'd be weird if I did that. But Aiden seemed to enjoy the Tesla. I thought that was a good experience. What else do we need to recap? You can have the Fitbit.
Yeah.
I need to understand the Apple Watch more though, because I do like this functionality to see text messaging as it comes through. Jimmy from Indiana was telling me that he doesn't have a data plan. I need to understand that more. If you're out there and you have an Apple Watch, let me know how that works for you. I guess I could do some research on my own, but I'm too lazy for that. Tell me how that works. Or do you need data? Do you need Wi-Fi? Does it work when you're not on a Wi-Fi? What's the situation with the Apple Watch? Intrigued by that. I don't have any sort of gift receiving holidays coming up, so I'm not sure how we're gonna get that all worked out. But maybe I'll downshift you from the Tesla to the Apple Watch. That feels like a good trade.
Oh,
by
that
the way.
does
That
feel
feels
like
like a really good trade.
That'll
By the way,
save me a lot of money.
And then we put up a poll on Facebook, and thanks to all 4 of you who voted. That was fantastic of all 4
I was
of you.
one of those 4.
I was also one of those 4. I must have had... no,
There's 5.
No, we only had 4. Chad didn't actually vote.
Oh.
So our good friend Chad, who just a pearl of wisdom here, decides to come in with "You're both wrong."
And right. You said
right.
we're both wrong and right.
Either way, I stopped listening to Chad. Said we're both wrong, we're both right. And then his follow-up advice was, and this is what Chad does now. Chad, just the manly man of all men. I don't know if Kristen, his wife, listens to this show, but Chad, did you just pick that cup up to drink out of it, by the way, and there's nothing in it, and you put it back down? I wish that was on film. So Stephanie just blue Solo cup here. She just picked it up eagerly, ready for a sip of something, and it's empty, and she put it right back down. So Chad, his advice was, if you want to do something, just tell her what you want to do and just do it.
But I kind of agree with him.
Okay, so this is what we're doing now. So it's on tape at 12:07 in this show today that I can just do whatever I want to do and tell you.
Well, if we're discussing something like, hey, do you want to do this or not? Then be honest and say, yes, I'd really like to do this.
Okay.
Can we make this happen?
So, or you could also say, hey, I also want to be part of this too. But either way, I actually won that vote. Yay! I don't have the sounder plugged in. There'd be an applause here.
It doesn't count when only 2 other people besides you voted for you.
Well, and both those people are really from your sphere of life.
Who's the
one? Was, I believe, your cousin.
Oh, that's right.
And then the other one was Kristen, both of whom
Dude Girls
came to my life via you. And so that just shows that they know I'm absolutely right about you in the sense that if you had wanted to go, you would have had everything packed up. So Kristen is the perfect person to answer this question because she was just here with us, and she'd wake up in the morning and you'd have everything on the counter ready to go for whatever we were doing that day, right? And so she knows all full and well that meant that you actually had no interest in going, which is why her vote should count like as 100.
She also
so I really won 100-0. Thanks, Kristen.
But she loves soccer, so yes, she would say yes. You should have gone to the game.
I don't think it's. Yeah, I think I'm gonna defend Kristen. I don't think it has anything to do with location. I think she just knows you well enough to know that when she walked down those stairs and we were heading to Santa Cruz, Sacramento, wherever, you had our entire life packed on the counter. That's all I'm saying.
I do usually like to be organized.
And so I won that vote 100-0. So congratulations to me.
It was 75-25.
Well, no, that's like 100 votes because Kristen's vote counts for like 100 because she actually has intimate knowledge because she was just here and experienced.
She also lived with me.
Life via Stephanie. But that's a different kind of Stephanie. Stephanie that has to get other people ready now too is a whole different Stephanie.
It's true.
I mean, it's night and day. I mean, Stephanie who had just to get herself ready had some problems, don't get me wrong. But Stephanie that's got to wrangle up 2 kids, especially this one out here who eats and drinks like nonstop. Particularly, why do you go to the movies? I'll save this for my annoyance later. I have an annoyance later. All right, well, that's the opening of the show. We have more stuff after this, so I don't know why you would want to stop listening at this point. I think if we don't have you hooked in yet on what's going to happen for the rest of the show, then we're never going to have you hooked in, and that's why we don't have anyone listening. So stick around. I'm going to play a little music here. You'll let Addison say something pithy, and we'll come back with God knows what from Stephanie's stories of the news. So stick around.
My dad tells my mom what's going on in the world. This should go well.
All right, here's the part of the show where we read the news to you. This is probably my least favorite part of the show. I don't really know. I can't tell sometimes. Sometimes our stories are I think they're funny, and they don't end up being funny. And I hope you have some things to add, and you don't. So anyway, go ahead, Steph. What do you got? News.
Remember, you're supposed to be nice. All right, our first news story. So imagine you're in California. You're at a Buffalo Wild Wings restaurant.
Okay, those are A, that's a place I would be because I live here, and B, a Buffalo Wild Wings is a place I would visit, sure.
Plus, you're watching the Women's World Cup.
All right, I mean, sure. I mean, I might catch a game or two, a match or two, sure.
All right, you're looking at the menu.
I'm looking at the menu. Okay, I typically know what I want when I get there, but that's fine.
All right. And as you're looking at the menu, a live rat falls on it from the ceiling.
Well, that's no good.
No good.
But first of all, before we get in, the setup for that story was fantastic. Did you practice that?
No.
That's just right off the cuff, right off the top. Wow. I mean, kids, this is growth. This is just growth right in front of us. Okay, so no, I would not like a rat falling on me. That's for sure.
So apparently this lady was at Buffalo Wild Wings watching the World Cup.
You say apparently as if this can't be proven.
No, it was. Sorry.
Okay, it was proven. Okay.
She even took a picture of it.
Of the rat?
Of the rat.
Okay.
On her menu.
On her menu.
Apparently it was very stunned when it fell from the ceiling.
The rat was stunned?
Yes.
How do we know that? Do we ask him?
Well, the picture looks like it, but she said it in the thing that it was a pretty far drop, and so it wasn't moving when it.
Oh, okay.
It was still breathing, but it wasn't moving.
And that's called stunned?
That's the word I'm using.
Okay. Fair enough.
Let me finish my news story,
we just gave the rats human characteristics. Okay.
So they called
Continue.
the wait staff over, and they took 2 plates and scooped it up and put it in the garbage bag.
Wait staff?
Well, what do you call those people?
I mean, that's a good one. I've never heard you refer to the people who help you as a wait staff.
I think that was in the article.
Hold on. I think I have a sound for this.
Ew.
That's more of a mouse than a rat. Okay, continue, sorry.
So, if this was you, would you still order your food there?
No, we got to go. Nah, we got to go.
So she did not.
She did not.
But she stayed.
She stayed.
And her friends ordered food and ate it, but they got the food for free.
Yeah, no, I'm getting something for free. I mean, so typically, I don't think you can get beers to go there. If you could though, like I'd be rolling a keg out. Like that would be where I'd be at. I'd start my negotiation with a keg, and I'd settle for a couple 6-packs. I mean, no, that's a gotta go situation. Was there? Now I'm sure you did a lot of research. And you didn't spend all your time just making that setup of the story. Had there been previous complaints at this restaurant? Had there been any sort of citations from the local food environment department?
So,
what do we know here?
After reading more,
okay, further reading was done.
The restaurant did end up closing for a short amount of time to clean.
How short is short?
It didn't say.
Like hours, days?
I don't know.
Okay.
But they are blaming the rat on the shopping center that they're in is under construction.
Okay. All right.
And they say it's because of the construction and that they've never had a rat problem before, and that they made sure that there's no more rats.
And this was there was one rat, just the one rat.
Well, that's all that.
Like it didn't happen again before or since. Like it's just this one lady. Just
it literally happened like last week, so I don't know.
Sitting there with the menu in her hand. Wow. Do you use a menu? Like, was it her first time at Buffalo Wild Wings? Do we know? Is she there often? Because you pretty much know what you're.
This is the thing.
Oh, there's more. Hold on, Stephanie's really excited at this. There's more.
So she was at a Buffalo Wild Wings in California, but she actually doesn't live in California. She was just here visiting.
Do we know what part of California? It's not near.
No, it's not the one near here.
The Greater Tracy area.
No. I checked to make sure because we were never going to go there again if it was. But yeah, so she wasn't even she doesn't even live in the area.
Okay. Well, that's a bummer then. But I feel like you don't need the menu at Buffalo Wild Wings. You kind of know what you're getting yourself into.
Sometimes there's new things added.
Is there? But they usually get that special insert in the menu. Yeah, I don't know. All right. Well, no, I wouldn't want to stay. And again, I'd start my negotiation at a keg and work my way down to, again, a couple of Sixers on the way out. I mean, I don't know if you can do that. Because would you really want free food?
That's fine.
At that point, it's like, oh, well, sure, they got us a free meal, but you also had the gross experience. I think I need to GTFO, but I need something for my troubles because I don't want to go back there per se. Now, would you, if that was you, and that just happened, and they were like, look, Mrs. Lady over here, we're so sorry. Construction, just happened. We swear our kitchen's clean. Here's our latest inspection report. we really hope you'll come back and give us a second opportunity. Here's a couple of coupons for your troubles, that kind of thing. Are you going back?
Probably not. And I wouldn't have sat there with my friends while they ate, because I would have just been like, I got to get out of here.
So you'd have left.
Yeah.
You're just going to sat in the car while your friends ate. I like that the friends just ate. That's also really cool. Like, there was no other place to go eat. Like, they were just really invested. Now, were they there to watch the match, the game? Was that what they were there for?
Yes.
Okay. Are they from? Are they from?
They're American.
They're American. Okay.
I don't remember what state they were from.
Okay.
It was in California.
It wasn't. Okay. And the friend was not. All right. Well, no. I got to go. And I'm just. Can we get those friends on the show? Is there names attached? I'd love to understand from the friends like why they were like, well, hey, look, it happens to anybody. These,
maybe they just wanted free food.
These 10 spicy garlic, I really got to get these down. Like, I wonder what the conversation was like. I need to know that.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Get that person on the show.
I'll do my best.
Okay, all right. I have a story this week. This is an interesting one, Stephanie. This one made some viral news. I saw that you actually brought this one to me. So, what often happens in my life? So, imagine that you've just woken up in the morning. This is actually a true story, by the way. Like, can I tell the story the other day? I'd literally just woken up. I don't even think I had my eyes were not officially open at this point. I do wear corrective lenses, contacts, and glasses, and neither of which were fixed to my eyeballs at this moment in time. I am in our restroom, in our room, and I am taking care of a little morning, elimination, if you will.
You're peeing.
There we are. And literally, like, the door's cracked open because it's just us in the room, and the door's closed. And Stephanie comes bounding into the bathroom, and she puts her phone like 6 inches from my face. Goes, look at this on the news. There's a fire, and I'm like, I can't even see straight. And you just have the phone in my face. So that's what happens to me typically all the time.
Just to be clear, the fire was like literally 1 mile from our house.
It's about 5 miles from our house.
That's not 5 miles.
Go run it right now.
Maybe 3.
Go run it right now. Let's see how long it takes you to run from here to that fire. We'll wait. I'll put the show on pause. You go take a lap and let me know how long that takes.
It's 99 degrees out. No, thank you.
A mile. All right. Anyway, so you even brought this one to me, and so this comes to us courtesy from the good folks in Lakewood, Colorado, where a Little League baseball game, a youth baseball game near Denver, was taking place. And apparently there was a call made by the umpire during this game that got everybody all kinds of upset. And so what ensued was what I can only describe as a full-on brawl between parents and, I guess, coaches and other onlookers. I'm not even really sure. The video, I don't know that I can describe the video. If you haven't seen it yet, just Google, like, Little League Brawl. You'll find it. We got parents throwing haymakers. We got coaches pushing each other. One guy seems to get hit over the head with something. Kids are running off the field like scared as all get out. All this, again, was over a disputed call from the umpire. Here's the thing. The umpire was 13 years old. So the video that I have up as I'm talking right now, like this, the person getting hit here, I hope it's not the umpire because he looks like he's dressed in umpire attire. This guy looks way older than 13, though, so I hope that's not the umpire. But I really hope no one attacked a 13-year-old.
And I heard it was actually because he said he was trying to tell the parents to behave or calm down. Behave or calm down or something. And that's what caused the whole thing.
Well, the kid is 13, and he had an interview. And essentially, he thought there were some problems in the game, I guess, to your point. So there's some other parents yelling from what I can read here, and some other parents wanted the 13-year-old to kick them out of the game, which started the argument. And so what this 13-year-old kid did was essentially issue a warning to everybody. So basically said, everybody just chill out. Like, it's just a game, yada, yada, yada. And that sparked everything from there too. So, it's just a tough one for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I mean, I would not want to come to blows, and I certainly think that this is wrong. But we've watched our daughter now play relatively competitive soccer. I mean, she's not playing, in the World Cup or anything to that effect. But there are some times out there where there are some kids who, like, I just despise that she's playing against. And I recognize that I'm an adult and they're children, and I'm not supposed to dislike them, but I actually kind of do. Now, I'm not saying I want to go out there and start throwing hands, but emotions get it's if you're not a parent, it's hard to describe the emotion of watching your kid compete and then watching something happen that's maybe wrong or bad to your kid, and then hearing other parents talking about your kid and cheering their kid to hurt your kid, things like that, it does get interesting for sure.
That did happen this year.
It did indeed happen this year. Now, I'm not advocating for everyone to get out there and just start going kung fu fighting, but it certainly is it's a tough situation as a parent watching games now.
Yes, but have they interviewed any of the parents that are actually involved in the fight? Like, I want to know if they, in the Little League brawl, are they embarrassed? Are they, that wasn't the right thing to do? Or are they like...
I'm not seeing any... so I have not done the same level of exhaustive research that you've done on the Buffalo Wild Wings story here. I'm not seeing any interviews with any of the parents. Again, I'm seeing more the interview with the young umpire, but no parents. A couple of parents, I guess, were arrested. They're still looking for others, obviously. I also want to know who filmed it. Like, who was like, hey, I got to get this on video.
There's always somebody.
Whenever something's going down. Like, you gotta hand it to people. Whenever there is an embarrassing brawl of some sort, there's a camera phone nearby. I respect that. Mm-hmm. I really don't. I was being sarcastic. You actually, I felt like you agreed with me there.
Well, I think that there should be somebody recording so that you can actually, because you never know when people are talking who's telling the truth.
Well, so what should happen to these parents? What's the punishment here?
It's hard because you don't want it to be like their children can't play Little League anymore because that's punishing the child for their parents' actions. That would be. Do you say the parents can't come to the games for a certain amount of games? Like, I don't know.
Okay. I mean,
what would you do?
If I was who?
In charge of the league.
If I was in charge of the league, these parents would be barred from the field.
Forever?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow.
I mean, their kids can play. They have to hit the drop off, and then Johnny will call you when the game's over. Or find an aunt or uncle, somebody who's responsible that's not going to throw hands at the game, and that person can watch.
But isn't that punishing the child as well? Because, I mean, I don't know. I would think that our child would want us there to support her.
I would think she would. I'd also think our child would not like to see her mother and father dragged off the field and arrested because we start fighting people during the game.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So I feel like that's just sure, by extension, are the kids going to be... somewhat limited, maybe, if that's the only way to get to the game and mom and dad can't go, or they got to sit in the car the entire time. I don't know. Like, there's got to be some sort of repercussion, and I think a lifetime ban of that particular league is probably what we're looking for.
I agree, because you don't know what could happen at the next game that they're at.
You don't know what could happen in the next game, or the next game, or the next game. So I think they're not allowed to be there. That's just me.
I agree.
Great. All right, so that's my first story. I'm glad we're in agreement there. The follow up to this, your first story is just going to be epic. I can't wait for this.
It's probably not going to be epic.
Well, set it up good. What do you got?
All right. Have you ever watched Space Jam, the movie?
It's been a long time. That came out in 1996. Am I right on that?
I did not look that up.
Great. I think it was 96-ish. But yes, I have indeed seen Space Jam.
So there's going to be a Space Jam 2.
What?
Can you believe it? All these years later?
I'm in disbelief that there would be a Space Jam 2. Are you sure that this is true?
Well, supposedly, I should say.
What do you mean supposedly?
I don't think it's totally set in stone.
Oh, well, hold
on.
But
there's going to be a lot. Oh, you have a...
Supposedly, maybe, there's going to be a Space Jam 2. This has caused Stephanie to feverishly get to her phone, which I don't know, either she's sending a text message or she's looking this up.
So there's going to be a lot of famous people in it. But do you know of somebody who's not going to be in it?
Is this where I act like I don't know?
Yes.
Even though you already told me?
Yes.
Oh, Stephanie, gee, I don't know. Pat Sajak.
It's a basketball player.
Manute Bol. Oh, he's dead. Damn it.
Oh my gosh, that's not nice to say.
I forgot. Just first name came to my head. Rest in peace, Manute. He was a truth.
I'll just tell you.
7-7. Yeah.
Steph Curry.
Stephen Curry.
He's not going to be able to be in it because of a scheduling conflict.
Scheduling conflict. Okay.
But in the original one, there was.
And can I get a source on this? Where are you getting this story from?
Who is this from? Entertainment Weekly.
Entertainment Weekly. Okay, that's a relatively reputable industry standard practice magazine situation. Okay.
So in the first one, there was some players such as Alonzo Mourning, Steve Kerr, who is actually, isn't he the Warriors coach?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't know he was in the original one.
I'm not sure he is, actually.
It says in the original Space Jam, NBA legends Danny Ainge, Steve Kerr, Alonzo Mourning, Horace Grant, Scottie Pippen, Charles Oakley, Vlade Divac, Brian Shaw, Jeff Malone, Bill Wellington, Anthony Miller. Anyways.
I'm sorry. None of those people were in the original Space Jam.
Maybe their voices?
The Monstars. This is off the top of my head now. So the Monstars in that movie, though. All right, now I got to explain the whole thing. So Space Jam was Michael Jordan, and he had essentially somehow gotten sucked into the cartoon world by Bugs Bunny because Bugs Bunny had a pickup basketball game with all the Toon Squad against these guys who were typically smaller individuals, but some evil henchmen, of course, stole the likeness and the soul of NBA players, implanted them into these little guys, and then these guys became the Monstars. Off the top of my head, that was Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Sean Bradley, Muggsy Bogues, and there's probably one more who I'm forgetting, but you just listed off a whole bunch of people that I don't even think Alonzo Mourning. I think he was in college in 96.
They all appeared in cameos.
Well, sure. Maybe they had sure, fine. Maybe they said something or they were in like a background scene of some sort. But okay.
Well, enough. Anyways, in this one, I think LeBron James is going to be one of the main characters.
You don't need to think. That's a fact. His production company, I believe it's called Spring Hill, is producing the series.
But there's also going to be Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson. Well, these are rumors that they're going to be in it. Damian Lillard, I don't know who that is.
He is the point guard for the Portland Trail Blazers.
And even 2 WNBA stars.
I saw that. You sure it's not 3?
1, 2. Oh, 3. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, 4.
Oh, yeah.
Look at that. Anyways, so I can't believe they're coming out with another Space Jam all these years later.
Man, this is a tough one for me because I don't know how to break your heart here. This has been like rumored for the last 10 years.
Oh, no.
That LeBron would be leading a new Space Jam. And then probably 5 years ago, him and his business partner, Maverick Carter is his name. They started their own production company and they've produced a series such as The Wall. I don't know if you remember The Wall. They had that one recently where it was like the Mile, I think it was called, where you had to like run faster than the guy who was chasing you and get to the end first.
Oh, yeah.
They also produced a series on, I think it was Showtime. And then like a documentary essentially about LeBron. Go figure. So they've been doing production for a while now, and they'd always wanted to do Space Jam 2. It just never worked out. Hence, then all of a sudden LeBron signs with the Lakers, and there's a lot of backroom chatter that part of it was so that he could then, in theory, begin this process of starting the movie. So I hate to break
all
that
to you. Just to do a movie.
Well, I mean, I think he went to the Lakers for a lot of different reasons, but I think one of them was the fact that he could do a reboot of the Space Jam series. But let's not bury the lead here, Stephanie, because you came hot out of the gate with facts, loosely, that Steph Curry would not be in the movie. Do we know why he's not going to be in the movie? Can you give us more details? What do you have on that for us?
Well, part of it was a scheduling conflict.
Okay, what's the conflict? Do we know?
He didn't say what. He just said there wasn't a way for him to commit to it time-wise.
Now, was he asked, or is he just kind of going out? Like, I also can't make it in Space Jam 2, by the way. I'm also busy. So if anyone's curious, I actually won't be appearing either. Was he asked, or is he just getting on the... Okay, he was asked. Okay.
Which I feel like LeBron James and Steph Curry are probably like rivals, technically. So I'm surprised he was asked.
It's interesting. We've had this Curry conversation in previous episodes. LeBron and him have had some moments. Obviously, they played in the finals against each other for 4 straight years, and so they've had some moments. But they appear to be relatively friendly-ish. I don't know that I would characterize them as like super close. They don't share an agency. They don't share common endorsers. So I don't suspect that they're talking on the weekends and stuff. But I don't think that there's some sort of a blood feud between the two of them by any stretch.
Well, and the sponsors is another thing. Is Steph Curry is under Armour. Some of the other guys they asked
just to be fair, it's not under Armour, it's just Under Armour.
Okay, well, contracted to Under Armour.
Yeah.
And some of the other ones are with Adidas, some of the other people they wanted. But this is something. LeBron is with Nike, right?
Yeah, this is where it gets weird again. I hate to break this to you. Damian Lillard has a pretty big contract with Adidas.
Oh.
Klay Thompson, who I think you mentioned, he has a contract with a Chinese shoe company called Anta. So, what do you have to say to that?
Well, they were saying that it's a little bit tricky for some of these players because they are but they are contracted with other companies.
Yeah, I could see that being a problem if LeBron's using this as a vehicle to also promote his shoes. That was a big part of the first Space Jam, if you recall. Is that Michael Jordan obviously was prominently featured wearing his Air Jordans at that point. I think it was the 12s or the 13s in that movie. And so I could see how that would be a sticking point. So what you can exclusively report to us now today is no Steph Curry.
Correct. Maybe Klay Thompson, but who knows now that he just got
what's going
hurt.
on with that knee injury? Do we know? Is that mentioned in the article?
That's
not mentioned in the article. Okay. So we don't know what's going on with the knee injury. You'd think it'd be kind of hard to play basketball with a torn ACL. I mean, unless he's just doing some standing around scenes.
Yeah. Or voiceovers or something.
Well, I mean, yeah, fair. I don't know if it's voiceovers. I don't know. The first movie, the gentleman had live action roles, but I guess in theory the playing was done by cartoon characters, right? It wasn't done by the actual NBA guys. So I guess that could work out. Do we have any release date on that?
No.
All right. Well, check back here. we'll keep you up to date on. There's still nothing in that cup, by the way.
I put stuff in the cup.
You drank it all already.
And I drank it again.
Stay tuned here. We will get your official and up to date news on the Space Jam 2 reboot. Steph needs to be. We're all over that, right?
Yeah.
Yes. All right. My last story comes to us from the world of kind of technology, I guess. This one hits a little close to home for me a little bit. So this was last weekend. Are you familiar with a little retail store called Target?
I am.
All right. So last weekend, I think it was a Saturday, Target stores nationwide, all of a sudden, registers crashed.
I heard about
all
this.
registers down. And so a lot of lines, a lot of people got backed up. There's reports of people waiting 1 and 2 hours. People were trying to find any way to pay. Target was handing out free Starbucks and whatnot to try to make people happy. Target termed this as an internal technology issue, and obviously, as soon as they figured that out, they were able to get registers back online. But obviously, people had been waiting and waiting and waiting. And so it became kind of a trending story that the Target registers crashed.
I saw some funny memes like, I marked myself safe from the Target register.
Yeah, so this is interesting. So what most people might not remember or know is I spent 6 long years working at Target.
Yeah, you would not have liked to be there that day.
This would not have been a good time for me there. And I can certainly commiserate. But Target's had a couple of these quirky things. Obviously, they had that hack a few years back where the register systems were hacked into and credit card numbers were breached, essentially. Now they're saying this has nothing to do with that. But there are some people who waited in line like hours for their stuff, Steph. Is there anything that I could put in your cart that would cause you to stand in line for over hours whilst waiting for Target to get their registers fixed?
Nope. I probably wouldn't have even put my stuff back, but I would have either put my stuff back or left my cart and said, see you later.
Yeah. That's it. So there's nothing I can put in your cart. The last of something, a birthday gift for one of the kids. There's nothing I can put in your cart that would have you saying to yourself, I'm sticking around.
No, I mean, we have a Walmart like across the street from Target, so I would have said, I'm going there.
Okay, so you're jumping ship.
I think what happened, though, is people didn't realize it was going to take that long. And then after they've already put 20, 30 minutes waiting in, they're like, oh, well, it's coming back any minute, and then before they know it, it's an hour or two.
Yeah. Well, apparently there was a workaround. Some of them where you were able to enter some stuff manually. Look, retail's not fun. Like for those out there, many of the folks who might be listening probably worked in retail. If you know me, retail is not fun, man. It's not a good experience. And so this is one of those days where it's like, what do you do? Like everyone's going to be pissed off at you to begin with. There's literally nothing you can do. I mean, I've been yelled and screamed at retail just for having a shirt on that day. I can only imagine how bad this goes.
I'm glad that you you're calm and that you can handle those things.
Yeah. I mean, I typically, I've been yelled at a ton. I've got a couple of my all-time favorite stories. The one time a lady walked up and she was just giving it to me and blah, 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 blah. And she was like, I need to speak to the manager. I'm like, well, you're in luck because I am the manager. And she was like, oh, well, there's no way you're the manager. I'm like, well, I can show you my ID if you need it. And so I usually get more sarcastic than anything, which probably doesn't help in that situation. I'm not really sure.
Does not.
I'm not really great at the customer service situation.
Maybe that's why they moved you out of stores.
The angry return. I had a lady try to return a toaster that she had for like 6 years, and she was like, it doesn't work anymore. I'm like, well, looks like you got 6 good years out of it. Unfortunately, I can't return it. We don't even sell this thing anymore, and that wasn't the right answer. There's a lot of bad things happen in retail. That's interesting. I'd like to. So if you're listening to this, why A, but B, thank you. And you worked in retail. What's the worst story you have from working in retail? I don't think people would understand how annoying a job that can be day in and day out working with people in stores. I'm curious what the worst stories people would have out there of their time in retail. So it's a family show, right?
Yes.
Probably the worst experience I've ever had in retail. This was back when we were living in Vero Beach, and I was at the Target in Vero, and shout out to T1050. And I don't even know how, but a walkie-talkie page comes over, and it's like GSTL, come to the front. So GSTL at that time was the guest service team leader is what they called. I have no idea what they call them today. And so the cart attendant had come over and was talking to the GSTL. And so my office was right near like that area. So I walked out, half curious, perhaps just half moving along. And so I hear the conversation and she's like, well, how bad is it? And he's like, really bad. And so she looks at me and she's like, hey, I think the guy's name was Charlie. No, what's his name? I mean, let's call him Charlie. Charlie said there's something wrong in the men's room. Can you go take a look and let me know what the heck's going on in there, Steph? I went in there. It was everywhere. I don't know how it got to the places it got to. It was like on the ceiling. I couldn't even... The amount, I don't even know physically how it got all the places it got.
Oh my gosh.
It was everywhere. And like there are two things I don't deal well with, vomit and excrement.
It's true.
And
this kid hasn't changed a dirty diaper ever.
Oh my goodness. The amount of excrement in this particular restroom that day. Again, it was on the ceiling. Like, so there's a stall, as you're familiar, and obviously the stall has a door. It was like on the mirrors, like outside. Like, how did it get there? Like, I don't know if someone smeared it. Like, was it? I don't even know what happened. I don't want to talk about it.
Did you guys just close the bathroom that day?
I almost closed the store. I closed the bathroom.
Well, that's what I'm thinking. Like, did that person go around and touch other things afterwards? Like,
unknown. I mean, I wasn't doing any level of research to understand who may have been involved in said incident. But God, that was awful. I mean, we shut the bathroom down. I want to say we hired, like, somebody came in to clean that thing. Like, it was just, I don't even know, man. I don't even know.
That sucks.
There's a lot of things that did. And that was my, yeah. But friends in retail, find us on social media feeds or text me if you want. I don't care. And what is your worst retail experience? I'd love to share some of those on here. That would be pretty interesting. I think the general public would be pretty surprised at all the crap that goes on at a retail store.
Literally.
I see what you did there, Stephanie. What a way to end this segment.
This is supposed to be the fun part of the show. I doubt that.
All right, fun segment time. Stephanie's excited. I said this is our fun segment, and she said, is that what you call it? Aren't they all fun? Stephanie, today I want to educate you on some things.
Okay.
Because I know you are very deep in research. I know you're an educator. You are somebody who takes the teaching profession very seriously. I got to thinking about something today.
Oh no, it's never good when you start thinking.
I think what you or the kid said something that got me thinking. Are you familiar with? There's a lot of common phrases that people use that make you wonder like where these things came from. Like, so let me give you an example. Let the cat out of the bag. What the heck does that mean? Why were cats in bags? Does anybody really know?
No.
Well, I researched it.
Oh, boy.
I've got the research done here, and I'm going to share with you some of these. And I want you first. I want to see if you can guess, because this could be gold right here. Where might you suspect the phrase "let the cat out of the bag" come from?
Spain.
Okay. Well, maybe it doesn't necessarily say an origin of country, but I appreciate you sharing that. And so this dates back to the 18th century. Something called a suckling pig was often sold in bags. And a popular scheme back then was to replace the pig with cats and then sell them to victims. And obviously, when the cat's opened, you let the cat out of the bag.
When the bag is open.
That's what I said.
You said when the cat is open.
The cat got out of the bag there. And so that's where that comes from. Here's another one. Pulling my leg.
I don't know where that one would come from.
So this one came from 18th century. Again, big. A lot of big things in that 18th century. Let's check that out. Street thieves would literally pull victims down by their leg in order to easily rob them.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
So pulling my leg has a thing. How about break a leg?
I assume somebody actually got their leg broken while they were performing.
No. Superstitions are typically rampant in the theater game, the theater. So it's not surprising that people would wish good luck outright. That's actually bad luck, right? So they're so superstitious that they would say good luck, it's actually bad luck. So they reversed it, and that's where break a leg comes from.
Oh, I see.
Did you know that?
Doing that reverse psychology thing.
Yeah. How about the phrase, have you ever heard this phrase, A? And then B, tell me where it's from. Dressed to the nines.
I've heard of dressed to the nines.
Okay.
I don't think it came from the 18th century. But
I can't confirm that.
19th century?
I don't have a century. So not all these have centuries, by the way. I apologize. I should have told you that in advance. So this is what happens with Stephanie. She starts thinking it's one thing, and then this is what we're doing the rest of the time. So this came from the most popular theory is that the very best suits at that point in time, whenever this was, used 9 full yards of fabric.
Oh. So
the best suits, meaning that you're dressed.
And what's that thing that I just heard at the NBA? What's it called that they just had this week?
Great podcast. What?
With the draft.
The draft, yes. Yeah, there was a draft.
And they were talking about how they were dressed, and it was a new word. Drab? Or
oh, boy.
What was the word that they were?
The word was drip.
Drip, that's it.
Drip. One of those slang terms again, Steph.
But that was something I never heard of before.
I'm not surprised you haven't heard that before. It's a I wouldn't say it's a newer word, but it's been used more in the last maybe like 12 months. Drip is just meant to be
like dressed to the nines.
Drip. Close. Close. Yeah. How about crocodile tears? Are you familiar with the phrase crocodile tears? Any idea? Now, I know you spend a lot of time, every time we talk about anything athletic in the house, you make sure to bring up to the kids that you know how to wakeboard and spend a lot of time in lakes. So that would mean that you, in theory, have been the closest to the crocodile of anybody in this entire family, which means there's no way you don't know what this means.
I assume that crocodiles, because crocodile tears are like fake tears. So I assume that either crocodiles cannot cry or they cry often.
Huh. Wait a minute. So
am I anywhere close?
I'll give it to you. So this is an ancient anecdote that claimed that crocodiles weep in order to lure their prey. Oh. So they, essentially fake cried so that like a prey would come near them and then they would attack them, which I guess would mean you're technically correct that crocodiles can indeed cry. Wow, you did a nice job. How about the phrase "close but no cigar"? I
assume it has to do with smoking in some form.
Where'd you get that
cigars.
From, by the way? Oh my god!
I don't know.
Your analysis is, I assume it's coming from smoking. Carnivals used to give out cigars as prizes, so almost winning would get you closer to achieving the cigar, but not quite close enough.
Wow! All this information.
I believe I just told you guys this one recently because I actually already knew this one. Let's see if you're paying attention. Do you know what the phrase "mind your P's and Q's" means?
I do remember you talking about this.
Yeah.
But I don't remember what the P and Q stood for.
Yeah.
Mind.
Yeah, keep saying it over and over again. Maybe it'll come to
I don't remember.
So 17th century. I know.
I should have guessed a century at
least. Should have. Pubs used to serve beer in pints and quarts.
Ah.
And if a patron was getting unruly, the bartender would tell them to mind their P's and Q's so as not to incite some sort of an argument or a fracas. So if something was getting out of hand, the bartender would yell, "Mind your P's and Q's," aka "Mind your pints and quarts," aka "Mind your business," and that's what that stands for. You look at me like I have 3 heads right now. Are you still confused? What's happening?
But it doesn't mean like he was about to cut them off from drinking because of it.
God,
like
no.
I'm going to cut off your pints and quarts if you don't knock it off.
I mean, I don't know what his intentions were, but mind your P's and Q's means mind your business, essentially.
Okay.
This is the one I hear a lot, actually. And once you recognize the meaning of it, you realize that it's really not a good thing to say this. Are you familiar with rule of thumb?
I know what it means.
Okay. Or do you have any idea?
I don't. Let me guess. 18th century.
There's no century listed here.
Oh, man.
There's a few different theories. One of them is essentially that carpenters used to use their thumbs to measure. One is that farmers use that to understand, or their thumb, understand how deep to plant seeds. And another is that someone said that that's got to be the thickness of a stick that was used to for a husband to beat his wife back in the 17th, 18th, 19th, whatever century.
I don't like that one.
Not a good phrase. Not a good phrase.
Addison asked me the other day, I guess somebody texted her and said it was up in the air.
Up in the air,
and
okay.
so she responded back to them, what is that? Is it a place? And so I guess her friend answered her correctly what up in the air meant. And she was like, Mom, I've never heard that before. I thought that was funny.
All right.
Is up in the air on there?
It's not up. It's not there. Sleep tight. Any idea what sleep tight? And this is right up your alley.
I assume kids used to get like tucked into bed, like they would like tuck in the corners.
Oh, sure. Yeah, no, that's not it.
Oh, man.
So mattresses used to be supported by ropes. And so the ropes were pulled tight to make sure that the mattress was stable.
Oh.
So sleeping tight. That's
I'm
what that
glad
means.
somebody came up with a box spring and a frame.
Yeah. I'm glad as well. Last one, 3 sheets to the wind.
Well, I know what that means.
Yeah. Any idea?
I have no idea.
All right, so sailors obviously used sheets to hold down the sails, and so apparently, if all the ropes, there were 3 ropes, if all the ropes were loose, the sails would blow away. So the thinking when sailors were a little too inebriated, the sheets would blow away, hence 3 sheets to the wind.
Interesting.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we lived through these.
Well, I
learned
a lot.
Is there one I didn't mention that you're curious about? Anything that any phrase that you wanna
I
learn
asked
about?
you if up in the air was on there.
I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory though. If you need origins for that, I guess I could get that for you. But
No, I can't think of
are there any
other
other
ones.
phrases? Okay. All right. Well, something else has come up recently, and it was a trending thing on. So you do not know this is coming, so I cannot wait for this. A thing that was trending on Twitter was people were talking about beers and essentially the 5 best like beers, and not a brand or not a type, but rather when you consume them. Like, so the 5 best situations to have a beer. So someone had said on this one I'm bringing right here,
Wedding.
at a lake, after a swim meet, noon outside, when you're grilling, and when you're having chicken wings, right? So they were listing out sort of their 5 favorite like beer opportunities, right? Now, you're not a big beer drinker.
No.
That I can tell you. However, what you are is a big sleeper. Mm-hmm. So I need your 5 best sleeps. Like, what are the 5 best like sleeps that you can possibly get that you can enjoy?
Definitely after lunch.
So an after lunch sleep. These aren't. I'll just write these down, and then we'll rank them in order. So we have the after lunch sleep, so AKA a nap, right? Okay.
Yes.
So the after lunch. What else you got?
So they can be at any time of the day.
They can be after a certain event, any time of the day.
After the beach or the pool, for sure.
After pool, beach. Okay, that's a good one. So after pool, beach. All right.
After a long drive.
Long drive. Okay. Well, after long drive. All right. What else we got?
During a movie.
During a movie. All right. During a movie. All right.
Would I need one more?
You only got 4. You just keep them coming, and then we'll figure out what the list looks like. What are your 5 best sleeps, Stephanie?
In a hotel.
In a hotel. Yeah, that's fair.
Sleeping
You were
in a
so
hotel.
annoying, and you were so annoying in hotels.
I love to sleep in a hotel.
You were so annoying in hotels, yes. Because if it's been a very rare occasion that you and I have been at a hotel, just the two of us in the last Addison's 12,
Basically 12 years.
in the last like 12 years here. But when we're on a vacation, it's just the two of us in a hotel room in the morning. Like you just want to sleep all day long.
Oh yes, because it's my one. If there's no children, holy moly, it's my chance.
And it's holy moly, and it's like 7 a.m. and I'm like, okay, what are we doing today? Like, let's get out, let's get moving around, and you just want to sleep all day long. So annoying. What else you got? That's 5 right there. Anything else that needs to be on that list? So, after moving, sleep. When you're sick, sleep.
I know I don't like to sleep after I take a shower because my hair is all wet. So that's the opposite of what you're asking for.
Is that why you don't shower a lot? Huh. No, it all comes together now.
I shower every day. People don't listen to him.
All right.
I can't think of any other ones.
All right, so we've got written down here the after lunch, aka every day, after pool or after beach, after a long drive.
Oh, at the beach.
At the beach. Too. At the beach sleep. Okay. At beach. During a movie, in a hotel, and now at beach. So do you want to rank these in any order? Do you have any particular favorites of your sleep?
Well, my daily nap after lunch is number one.
Number one. All right. So the daily, number one there.
My second favorite is the after pool or beach.
After pool or beach. Okay. Number 2.
At the beach with 3.
Well, so don't you, let me fact check this for a momento here. I'm going to go on a limb and say after the pool or the beach, you come home
Eat
and
lunch.
you take a shower.
Oh yeah, because I have to.
I would hope. But then you take a sleep here. How does that work with your I don't like to sleep after the shower thing?
Well, sometimes you got to make exceptions.
Well, of course you do. and why wouldn't you? Okay.
So I don't know if I can rank the other ones. I will, if you don't know me, I will take any chance possible to sleep. I don't sleep well at night.
Oh my gosh.
I know. He thinks I don't. I make that up, but I really don't sleep well at night. I don't have a lot of deep or REM sleep. And so I sleep best during the day.
According to my Fitbit, by the way, deep and REM sleep are two different things.
That's why I said deep. I don't have very good deep or REM sleep.
But that's wrong, by the way. But
you don't move at night, so how would you know?
But you have a sleep phobia. Like you're so concerned about getting sleep that I think you like psych yourself out to not sleep. You're finally that's like, oh god, finally I can lay down and I can go to sleep, and like you just don't actually sleep.
I have a hard time turning my brain off. I know.
What's that like?
And I have restless legs at night. It's such a pain.
Okay. Well, so just if you want to indulge me, then just give me 3 others here to rank here. So number 1 after lunch, number 2 after pool or beach.
3 was at the beach.
3 is at the beach then. Okay. Long drive during a movie or in a hotel.
Oh, in a hotel would be nice.
In a hotel. All right. So long drive and
after
during a movie.
the long drive.
After the long drive is 5. All right. So your top 5. I only need 5. So you can stop ranking now. So after lunch, after pool, at the beach, in a hotel, after a long drive. Trust me, ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie knows her sleeps. This is an indisputable list of the top 5 sleeps. 1000%.
Let me know if you agree.
Anyone out there should be no more agree. You are the world's foremost authority on this. You have spoken. Oh. This is what it is. There is no agreement, disagreement. I don't know if a poll's needed here. This is just what it is, Stephanie.
No more polls. I lose all the polls.
Well, no one votes on those things, so we're just really wasting our time with that too. So, all right. So, well, this was the fun segment. I told you it'd be fun.
It was more fun than I thought it would be.
I don't lie.
Something is annoying my dad. What else is new?
All right, the show is coming to a conclusion, but we conclude every show with things that annoyed us. I've got a lot of annoyances. They usually just come to me while we're talking, actually. I don't plan this out as much as you do, but Stephanie has an entire index card full of notes here again, of which I assume includes an annoyance.
It does.
Let me hear
it. Our annoyance might end up being semi-similar. It involves the same people.
Okay. No, actually it doesn't.
Okay.
I think I saw what yours is. Ours actually does not involve the same. Well, it's a different spin.
Okay.
Well, I'll let you go first.
So there's nothing more annoying to me than I'll be up and walking around and like cleaning the house and moving things around for like 2 hours. My kids don't need one single thing during those 2 hours. I'll be like, do you need something? No. Are you hungry? No. Do you want to play a game? No. I get everything done I need to get done. I sit down to do my work or just to relax and watch TV, which doesn't happen very often. And the minute I sit down, I either hear, I'm hungry, I'm thirsty, or can you play a game? And I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I could have just done that the last 2 hours, and you wait until I sit down and relax.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
It's annoying.
Mm-hmm. That is annoying. Why do you think that happens?
I think they literally see me sitting down and they're like, oh, mom can't sit.
Hold on. You mean to tell me that our children have been they don't even talk to each other, but somehow they've been plotting together and they're like, here, Addison.
I try and even
here's what we're going to
think
do.
ahead. Like, let me make sure I've got Aiden's water, his snack, everything before I sit down.
I'll get back to that. So they say to Addison, if you see mom sitting, you need to hit her up for something.
I don't think they talk to each other. I just think in their own little heads, they're like, what can I do to make mom have to get up?
I mean, it's pretty self-centered of you that you think that's all about you, that's all they're looking for.
Hey, you asked what my annoyance was.
I did.
As soon as I sit down and get comfy is when I have to get back.
Well, because then 7 minutes later, you're going to be asleep. So we don't have to worry about all that. Again, I think some of that is, some of that's on you.
Okay.
Because my annoyance is as follows. So twofold. I'll directly dispute. I wasn't planning this, but since you said it, I will directly dispute your claims right here, right now. You will absolutely. So Aiden, for example, will call out and say, Mommy, can I have a snack? And you will say, okay, fine. What do you want? And you guys will negotiate for 5 minutes, and finally we'll land on a snack for Aiden. You'll go get said snack, and you'll plop it down in front of him, and then you will walk away.
I get the water first.
Oh, no, you do not.
Yes, I do.
I would say 8 of 10 snacks come without some sort of a beverage. And you know he's going to require a beverage.
But he can also get his own water.
He also could get his own water. Then enforce that rule. Then tell him water's only given to people who go get it themselves. Then that's the rule in the house. He gets his own water, and we're all set. But instead, he says, Mom, 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 Mom. And then you know what you do? You go get him the water. So if you would just plan better and bring him the water to begin with, you'd save yourself a trip.
I usually get the water and the snack.
I don't know about all that. I would 8 out of 10 trips, no waters and no beverage included.
That's not true.
That's absolutely true. Here's my pet peeve. This is actually it's the same people, but the person who's responsible for this
is me.
It's actually you.
Oh boy.
So we head to the movies on Friday. Stephanie nagged me for 16 straight days about what time we want to go to the movies. Finally, she picked a time that was glorious. So we get to the movies. And of course, our children want what every kid wants at movies. They want, they want the drinks, the snacks, they want all that good stuff, right? And so Stephanie settled on a rule that they could either get, I believe it was a Slurpee or candy, but they could not have both. So it was Slurpee and or candy. Both kids elected for the candy, I believe. And so Aiden gets a pack of sour Skittles the size of my forearm.
Because they only sell huge ones. That's ridiculous.
The size of my forearm. And so we get into our seats. And so Stephanie gives Aiden the pack of Skittles. And I believe he had a bottle of water. And so we turn around. And by we, I mean me. Because I had to sit next to Aiden.
He wanted to sit next to him.
And I don't know, 2/4 of that bag, that's half, is already gone. And I'm like, hey, buddy, you've had a lot of Skittles.
The movie hasn't even started
yet. And so he's like, okay. So I take the Skittles away from him. And then, I pass them down to you to kind of hide them. And then, of course, a minute and a half later, he's like, hey, I want the Skittles, yada, yada, yada. Why don't you ration that stuff out in advance? Because then you're like, well, Aiden, don't eat the whole bag. Well, what'd you think he was going to do? You give him a bag the size of a forearm. You didn't think he was going to eat all the damn Skittles?
Well, if he's sitting next to me, I pay attention. And
I pay attention.
And I take it.
But then the entire time he was getting up and he was nagging everybody. He wanted his Skittles. You've either got to ration out the portions so that he can't have the entire bag of Skittles. Because you gave him the entire bag and sat him in a chair. What did you think was going to happen next?
How was I supposed to ration out the bag?
You're always prepared. In your purse at any given time are three wipes, hand sanitizers, probably a car, and there's got to be a Ziploc bag in there. Get a Ziploc bag, ration that stuff out, and let him have half, and then that's it. But he had the whole bag, and then we take the whole bag from him. So then he's like, hey, I had a whole bag of Skittles, and now I don't. And now he wants his bag back.
Well,
and who's he going to get that bag from? This guy right here.
Yeah, you didn't want to be the bad guy.
No, I was perfectly fine being the bad guy.
But he was annoying you because he can't.
He was absolutely
kept asking
annoying me, yes.
and asking and asking.
And I'm ready to handle annoyance in the movie theater if we need to. But I feel like I would be frowned. The Little League brawl that took place earlier, I feel like that would be what happened if I handled annoyance in the movie theater.
Next time, they can just get the Slurpee.
It probably would be easier, yes. Yeah. I mean, again, you give him a giant bag of Skittles, and then what happened after that, Stephanie?
He was a little hyper.
A little hyper. He was a complete blubbering.
And he didn't even have the whole bag.
Are you sure you didn't have the whole bag?
Yeah, because I threw the other half out when we got.
Okay.
Not half, but
There was
we'll
like
say a quarter.
7 Skittles left in that bag at the end. Yeah, and he acted like a complete buffoon the entire rest of the day because he'd had, I don't know, 612 actual pieces of Skittle. So next time we just got to ration that out. I think just some common sense
I will bring a
on
Ziploc
that
bag
part.
next
Maybe
time.
we could figure that out. I don't know.
I think what we should do is go to Target beforehand and buy the small bag of candy.
Wait, isn't that illegal?
It is, but it's better than our kid bouncing off the wall.
Do people do that? I mean, is that a common trait? Or so are people listening to this podcast right now? Are they...
People do that all the time.
Is that true? Okay. I'm not aware
I've
of
done
that.
it before.
Okay. What's the repercussions for if you're caught?
You just have to take it out of your bag and throw it out. But
Okay.
my bag's usually not checked because it's pretty small.
Do they check bags? I've never seen them check bags.
But there's that sign when you give them your ticket that they have the right to check your bag if it's above a certain size.
Okay. Huh. So they could check your bags for contraband there.
They can.
Interesting. All right. So people are doing that though?
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
so
wow.
much cheaper because you can get that same candy for $1 at Target, where it's $5 at the movies.
The bag the size of my forearm is available for $1 at Target. Am I waiting that register line, or is it available to me? This is flabbergasting. People actually go and smuggle in their own
all
candy.
the time.
I was not aware
You
of this.
did not know that?
No, I mean, I don't really eat candy. Now I'd smuggle in beers if it was a possibility, but
You can buy beer at
I know.
the movies.
But I'm sure it's like $92 for a glass.
Oh, that water was $5 a bottle.
Water's free, man.
That's ridiculous.
Water's free, man. All right. Well, if there's people out there that smuggle candy into the movies, let me hear from you because this is a complete. Maybe we have a candy smuggler on the show, Stephanie. We need guests. We need people to talk to. Maybe a candy smuggler can
A
join us.
certified candy smuggler?
Now, how do they get certified? Let's not get ridiculous. This is what you do. You always do too much. I come up with an idea, and you try to add something on it. Now you made them certified. And where do I get the certification from?
I don't know.
Exactly.
There's a jelly bean. Jelly Belly is here. They might certify you.
So the good folks at Jelly Belly are going to certify me to smuggle candy in to movie theaters.
I was thinking of just making candy, not smuggling.
Making candy?
I don't know.
All right.
I've had too much sugar.
Well, this cup's been empty for half the show. I don't know what was in it.
It was just water.
It was just water, which is even scary. All right. Well, hey, Stephanie, we should end the show then.
Okay.
This is the time we thank everyone for listening.
Thank you.
We ask them to continue to listen.
Please.
We tell them that maybe we'll continue to do these shows.
Maybe.
We ask them to follow us on all of our social media feeds.
Twitter.
Yes.
Facebook.
No, Twitter.
Oh.
Facebook.
Instagram.
Instagram. Yeah. What's the name of the feeds?
Up and Adam.
There we go.
With
Yep.
Stephanie?
No.
Oh.
Too many letters.
Just Up and Adam.
Just follow us on there. Like the show. Tell a friend. Tell 2 friends. Vote on our polls. Do all that good stuff. That'd be great.
Thank you.
And we may or may not be back next week. But until then, goodbye.
Bye.